He was born in a small Arkansas town, Morrilton, Arkansas. He and his family lived there. They had a small farm. His mom was a teacher. His dad did several different kinds of things in the community. He got to hunt and do all kinds of wonderful things because they had that rural environment. And then they moved to Carlisle, Arkansas. He had one brother, an older brother. He had a really solid family life. Not wealthy, but I think rich in goodness and rich in Christian values. Went to Harding College then on a football scholarship, and that's actually where we met. I was a freshman there, and I was so homesick because I'm from Georgia. I was crying just about every night on the phone, begging my daddy to let me come home. And then one night, my roommate and I met these two guys and started talking to them about, and the rest is kind of history, but the funny part is Tom Ed and I went out or something, and my friends the next day said, "Do you know who that is?" And I said, "Yeah. Tom Ed Gooden." She said, "Have you been to any football games?" I said, "No, I haven't. I don't, I'm not really that interested in it or whatever." And they said, "Well, he's like the quarterback of the football team. He's like Mr. Big on campus or something like that." And I went, "Oh, well, help him with that." So he always thought that was so funny that, we met. I hadn't been to any games. I didn't have a clue who he was, but I still wanted to go out with him. I started going to games after that. We got married after dating 2 years. Just so genuine and kind, and I just watched him treat everybody with a lot of respect and a lot of compassion. I saw him, how he played and how he talked with his teammates, and he was drafted to play professional football, and so we went through that for a little while. It did not work out successfully for him because of some injuries. So then he started coaching, and we've coached a lot of different places. We've lived a lot of wonderful places, and that's part of the joy of being married to a coach. You get to meet so many different people and make friends wherever you go. But we started in Benton, Arkansas. That was actually his first bout with cancer. He actually had cancer twice, so that was his first bout with cancer. And we were there in that small community. The people were just amazing, and sweet, sweet people that took care of these two little young people that lived away from all their families. And, he beat that time with cancer. Then we went on to live in other towns. First started out as just us, and it's us against the world, kind of just the two of us together. So that can either break you or make you, I believe. And we were committed to our marriage, so it made it stronger. He's an excellent Bible teacher, and he would teach. Of course, he loves to sing, so he's always involved in singing, whether it be a praise team or a group that sang for funerals or different events like that. He was an avid golfer until he got sick. Played golf with men from church, coaching buddies, that kind of thing. He also was a bit of a World War II buff. He liked to read about World War II. Our son gave Tom Ed and gave me a trip to go to Normandy. He told his dad during one of his kind of low times, during his illness, he said, "Well, Dad, when you get better, we're going to go. And you can go see all of those places where, D-Day took place." And so we did it. Lance drove, and Tom Ed was like the tour guide storyteller. It's something that I'll never forget. It was one of the most enjoyable and wonderful things we ever did as a family together. We loved this church the first time we came, but we visited, and of course I just fell in love with it. And he said, "Well, we really got to visit around. We really got to go to some of these other congregations." And I said, "Well, we can go, but I'm not going there." He goes, "Did you want to think about it?" I said, "No, I already thought about it. This is where we need to be. This is our place." And it proved to be absolutely true. I've watched him be so patient and caring of kids that weren't happy. They had struggles, and then that causes acting out and all that. And he would tell me, if he said it once, he said it many times, "You just got to be patient." It's just something that I just watched and I was amazed at his true compassion for helping kids. It was just, something that was just part of who he is, and anyone that's worked with him will tell you that. One thing then he would always say to me, if there was something that hadn't gone really well, like, maybe the electrician hadn't done it like I thought they should have, or they, didn't get there on time, and, I'm ready to call them and just really getting ready to be upset, and he'll go, okay, remember this. Give people the opportunity to do what's right. There were 4 things he loved. 4. God, his family, football, and the musical group, the Eagles. And anyone that knows him knows he played the Eagles constantly. We do believe God brought us here because he knew we needed to be near MD Anderson. Chemo first, and then found out actually 2 diseases, the multiple myeloma, which is the cancer, which is a blood cancer. But the second disease is one that none of us know much about because we haven't heard of it, and it's called amyloidosis. And it's not a cancer, but it's really worse than a cancer because it also has to do with the plasma cells in the blood. There's no cure for it. Stem cell transplant is the only treatment that will slow those diseases down. So he had 2 of those. At one point, Tom Ed was in the hospital 140 days. One of the nurses, angel on earth, she was just a jewel, and she told Lance, she said, you need to get your mother ready. I don't think he's gonna make it. Lance told her, he told me this way, he said, I told her, I'm not getting my mother ready. My dad's gonna be all right. You see those people in there singing? You hear all that praying? My dad's gonna be all right, and I'm not getting my mother ready, and don't say it again. So God put her there, no doubts. I mean, he really was a warrior. He's slow to speak, very thoughtful. He's extremely loyal, slow to judge, gives everybody the benefit of the doubt. Whatever you need, he's there. He was a quiet giant. I just miss him sitting with me and me. He made me better. He's the best man I ever knew. Best man I ever knew.